Now, this man ended the
so
statement by saying the call for Fulkrug is understandable, but in the internal assessment, Kai Havertz is rated very highly. So this is why, and this is why he has more goals than Mbappe so far.
No, he doesn't have more goals than Mbappe. He was just giving a penalty. Both of them have penalties. Both of them have penalties. I just mentioned it.
But Mbappe does not have most shots on target. Most shots.
He has missed one. Yes.
It's not nobody's business. If you are fit, you should be fit. You should be fit so you'll be available for call-up every time. So the Euros quarterfinal starts in a couple of days, and it's looking like the usual status quo in European football because the big names are starting to turn up. But first, Italy. What happened to these guys? They've missed out on 2 consecutive World Cups and now a very, very poor title defense. How did it go wrong for them?
Looking at Italy going into this competition, we already knew we were going to struggle. You could see that side of the Italian side. Even the coach of Real Madrid, we know about Ancelotti, saying he's not seen any stars in this Italian side apart from that's Donnarumma, who is the goalkeeper, and they just showed it in the game. You look at the way they played in the group stages. You know that they are not supposed to make it to the round of 16. Let's remember they just scored that goal, and as soon as they scored that goal, that's Zagadni, and then it was full time. Against Switzerland realized that it could not bite. They took charge of the game. Xhaka has always been impressive, even what we saw from Akanji. They pinned down Italy to the point that Italy only had a shot on target in the 73rd minute.
Yeah.
And that was the only shot on target. That was the only shot they had. And that's why we said, I feel one thing that Italy has been lacking so much has to be attackers, people that can score. Because even what made them not to go to the World Cup was just to score against that's North Macedonia. We've seen that in this Euros too. You can't go to a competition with Skamaka. Sorry, with all due respect.
Europa League winner.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Skamaka is not.
Once upon a time, Italy had 4 world-class strikers.
You had a
Liverpool destroyer
that had Zani. Come on, you cannot be mentioning these names.
Quick question, yes. So are we because now it's been confirmed that Spalletti is going to retain his job as Italy manager. So are we blaming Spalletti or is it simply the team? Because there are question marks over some decisions that he made. You know, he complained about fatigue affecting his team, but yeah, he put in 2 players that started almost more than 50 games for Roma last season. He started a Fagioli that just completed a 7-month ban and only played 1 competitive game. He made some questionable decisions. Although we can say that this guy missed out 2 suspension. What's his name? Caliafori.
Okay,
and they also had an injured left back as well. So, but is it the manager or is it the team?
It's the manager.
Okay.
To start with, of course, we know that this is not vintage Italy.
Of course,
we know this is not. That they've not really been producing as well.
Yeah.
Over the last few years, but you handicap yourself, even with your limitations already. You leave Locatelli at home. You don't score Verratti. Verratti is still very, very good, and he's still only 31. And he can still do a job for you. You leave him out. You leave out Locatelli. Then you come to the competition and you start making, even the way he sets up and all. I expected so much better.
He finished El Shaarawy.
You understand? So if you can make space for El Shaarawy, whatever.
El Shaarawy, yeah.
No disrespect, but like my mouth was. But if you can make space for him. El Shaarawy was.
Yeah, it was that guy years ago.
Finished for so long, and
it's like bringing Ciro Immobile.
And if you want to even do it, go and bring Balotelli. Abi. Because if you want to go back, you want to go back.
Yeah. But Balotelli had a good things for them.
If you want to go back to the players that have actually delivered and are bigger names. You have Verratti, you leave him out. You leave Locatelli at home. For what? Acting like you're some genius that just knows what he's doing. And that's always my problem with these guys, right? If you're going to make such decisions, you have to have a proper plan that we can see that, okay, we can understand why you left this person out. You can't leave out players and then come and start, playing rubbish. And I know that everyone wants to make the excuses of like the players and all that. But for me, when you have a handicap like that, at the very least, do your own part. Let us know that the only problem that we are seeing now, you set up well, but it's just that the quality was not there to elevate this team. Look at what Conte did with Graziano Pelle and co back then, and it's just 3 years ago that Italy won the Euros. So if they could win 3 years ago, what has changed?
But you look at this side, I don't think we can still compare it with that team that won the Euros with all fairness and quality. We know how the Italian side have a good back line We know we're not having the Chiellini and also the Bonucci that we especially
Those guys were grandpas in that tournament.
apart from being grandpas, don't
Yes.
forget that without that run by I think that was Chiellini, in which he dragged back and
You're applauding that. You're applauding it. Are you really applauding that?
No, see, it's like
You dragged your son.
it's like
dragged your son
it's like
back.
asking the Uruguay. It's like, what would you talk about that
Suarez
putting that? They will always
You do
give
what
him
you
that
have to do.
heroics because of
Right.
that moment. So I'm saying, you look at the back line is not looking that strong, and then you then have a forward line that you cannot trust when it has to do with goals.
Yeah.
They lack the bite. They even do not show that confidence. And if you look at that Switzerland team, they just knew that Italy was there for the taking. Even the
took
game
them
against
out.
Croatia, they had no business.
Okay.
In fact, in this tournament, we knew they were going to struggle. Yes, might not have predicted this
Yeah.
much, but they just did not even have any business getting to the round of
To be fair, I sort of disagree with you guys a bit, but I think we can all agree about the fact that Italy are not just that team anymore. They are no longer producing. But I think if you look at it from a wider lens, Italian football has regressed in general. In fact, their 2006 win was an anomaly. If you talk about the 80s and 90s, Italian Serie A they were like the best in the world. But when you come back to the late 90s and the early, they started declining. So it's a general decline.
So are you talking about Serie A?
I'm talking about
the
Italian
football in general,
the Italian scope of
the
things.
national team.
Other countries are trying to improve, upgrade, mixing youth experience and whatnot. But there's just a general decline.
But have you noticed
in
that
Italian football?
whenever Juventus are on top,
Yeah.
the Italian national team is good?
Yeah, because
Because even
most
their
of the
revival,
squad
yeah.
were coming from the Juve side. Like when you
Yeah.
have the that's the Spanish team, you're having a lot of Barcelona players with it. So
I'm going to disagree on that one, but I'm coming back
you're
to
not
it.
going to disagree. We know that.
the turnaround in
Yeah.
Spain's fortunes from 2008.
Yeah.
If you look at that 2008 team, there were only 3 Barcelona players in that team. Liverpool had more players. Villarreal had more players. Valencia had more players.
But remember that it's the players that
The
made a lot of
Barcelona
impact. You
starting
can't forget about.
Starting
Eh,
players.
Yes,
No,
Xavi. You can't forget about.
No, I'm talking about the squad.
even
Yeah, the squad.
The squad for 2008. Yes. But the thing is that after 2008, by 2009, when they now had their treble win,
Yeah.
that's
More
when
players got
Del
recognition.
Bosque now started trying to, especially after he flopped at Confederations Cup 2009. That's when he now decided to just copy Barcelona's. But the start of the dynasty, it didn't start with Barcelona players.
No, but we saw the exploit they
many.
did at the 2010 World Cup.
Yes, but I'm just saying that
No, I'm just
it's
saying.
just very important in history to not misrepresent that fact that it didn't start with Barcelona players being like, the staple of the national team. It was a very balanced team, first of all, incorporating everybody. With players from Real Betis, everywhere, Mallorca, all of that. And then it was when Barcelona started to win, they now decided to tap into that and continue it. But anyway,
And they flourish with it.
but
Speaking about Spain, since we are on the matter of Spain, they've been arguably the best side at the Euros 2024 so far. Arguably,
Yes.
because it depends on your lens or your perspective of what you call, a proper team. If you're talking about attacking performances, then they are definitely the best team at the Euros 2024 so far. But now they are facing a formidable foe in the name of Kai Havertz, Germany. And the big question is, can Spain actually go all the way?
They are going to go, maybe, but it's going to be a difficult task. I would say
playing against Kai Havertz will always
these are
be
the two best
difficult.
team in the Euros so far.
Playing against Kai Havertz
Germany-
will always be a difficult
No, even
challenge.
playing against Spain, because these are the two big main good sides so far in the competition. They've had
which is why
100%
I'm
win
so glad that
far.
they're taking each other out.
Yes, finally we'll have Kai Havertz leave, and then we have Kylian Mbappe.
I think where the key focus will be for Spain is their wing play. Their wingers have been electric. You have Nico doing damage and you have Yamal doing damage. If you watch them closely, when Yamal is on the ball, it's 2 players that actually go to him. So as 2 players go to him, there is space.
They make open that space.
And his crosses are always pinpoint.
Pedri runs
There's
in.
Pedri running. There's Nico Williams
But
on the flank
I
as
remember
well.
one country that were excited in the group stages because of their wing play at AFCON
Yes,
2000 and
Be straight to the point.
Please don't do
Moses
this.
Simon
Don't do this.
and Chukwueze
We had
Don't
the
do
best.
on fire. And then they went to meet Tunisia, and those ones just planned for the fullbacks, and that was the
Exactly
and
where
that's
I'm
where
coming to.
that's where we're going to test.
Nagelsmann is a proper tactician,
Yeah.
and we know he can definitely neutralize this Spain's wing play.
And that's why we're going to look at De La Fonte if he can really find
They
a
don't
way
even
to
rate
tweak.
him in Spain.
They don't need to rate him, but they don't need to rate him.
English people look at Southgate. That's how they look at De La Fonte.
No, that's the thing, but at least
Like, who's this guy?
he's proving them a bit wrong. We've seen how they've played an enterprising kind of game so far, and this is their biggest.
No,
but you know, we've been saying that they've not been well tested. They've been meeting side because we saw.
They've not been tested.
No, you are saying that because we saw how poor Croatia was. But if you look at that, their group is a tough group, a group that No,
Not
if you look at that group,
Italy.
no, on paper. Italy,
That's on paper.
Italy and Croatia are actually
they are
crap.
big
They're
side.
actually
No
crap. And then
disrespect.
Georgia are just.
But do you know
they're big
Georgia?
side.
If Georgia were a slightly better side, you know they created some chances that they could have hurt Spain. Yes.
No, but don't forget that game. Yes, but don't forget even
Plus
that
Rodri's
game.
Rodri's Juju. We have to include that. We have to account for Rodri's.
And I think we need to talk about Kai Havertz. I think we need to talk.
No, what I'm talking about, two penalties.
The numbers are backing in. Most shots at the Euros, most shots on target, best non-XG
And
goals,
zero-
best XG,
zero
as
open
well.
play goals.
I'll take. I don't think
taking their penalties without
zero
Without
open
the
play
penalty,
goals
where
or not.
would he
You
be?
don't know more than Nagelsmann. And yes, what Nagelsmann said. We don't need to look at Kai Havertz with his ball actions, rather with his off the ball actions. When you're talking about players that can create space for their other attackers to run, I don't think anybody literally has Kai Havertz profile right now.
That's cool.
That can also give, I don't think his profile is very rare. A tall player that can also act as a target man, that can also give you that hold up
You
play.
should be Kai Havertz agent.
Not many are better than if he picks my call. If he picks my call, what am I
He needs to be
saying?
his agent because that discussion
Nagelsmann
is
ended
just
the
so
statement
much.
by saying the call for Fulkrug is understandable, but in the internal assessment, Kai Havertz is rated very highly. So this is why he has more goals than Mbappe so far.
No,
till
he
now.
doesn't have more goals, but he was just giving a
Till now.
penalty.
Just
Both of them have
penalty.
What did
penalties.
Mbappe
There's
score
not.
too?
Both of them have penalties. I just mentioned it.
But Mbappe
Mbappe
does
has
not
not
have
played-
most shots on target.
Mbappe
Most
has
shots.
missed one full
He has
match.
made one guess.
It's not
Don't
nobody's
forget.
business. If you are fit, you should be fit. You should be fit so you'll be available for call up every time. You should be fit so you'll be available for call up every time. Because he has actually been one of the star performers. He has been one of the top
And don't
performers.
forget that the second goal that Kai Havertz scored was in the round of 16 game.
I mean,
And
take away.
So let's wait for
Kai
Mbappe to
Havertz
play
finishing
against
can be way
Belgium.
better. Take away the two great chances he missed against Switzerland. I mean,
You're
one of
telling
those
me about
chances,
chances
one of those
created
chances,
for them. Baba,
he created it out of nothing. By the way, he created one of those
He's not
chances
supposed
out
to
of
create
nothing.
chances.
Score.
But he's creating scoring actions. He has scored 2 goals when he needed.
Yeah,
When he
but
was
he has
needed
scored
the most.
goals. Please
When he
be
was needed.
direct.
Do you know what
Be
it means?
direct.
Do you know
He
what it
has
means to
scored
score a
2
penalty when your country needs you the
It's
most?
like when
You
Ronaldo
step up. Do you
scored,
see that? Do you see the technique of that
3 penalties out of 5 and 1 goal
penalty? Do you see the
difference.
technique of that penalty? Inch perfect. If you put
Nobody
2
cares about the
goalkeepers, then you
technique.
put 2 of that your goalkeeper. You can't catch that. You can't catch it.
Catch him.
They can't catch those penalties.
It's just
perfect
Really
penalty.
didn't make it.
But wait, now that we've talked about Italy, a side that underperformed. We've talked about Germany. Talked about Spain, sides that for me, I actually think the winner of that tie can go on to win the tournament.
Yeah,
That's my
definitely.
bold take.
If you look
that
at how
the winner of that tie goes on to win the tournament.
if you look at how both teams have played, I think there's a likelihood to that. But then it's a tournament and it can have its
I would
twist.
have loved them to meet maybe somewhere at the semis.
You know that,
but
it's Belgium, France also coming.
It doesn't mean.
Yeah,
I think Spain would beat
But then
France.
there is one other team
I think
we
they'll
need
beat
to
France
also
at the moment.
put
I don't see
in.
it.
There's another team we need to put in focus.
But now let's talk about
England.
a certain team. They have 3 animals in their crest, 3 lions, if you want to call it. And now Spain have been good, Germany have been good, but England have been, swinging the pendulum, good, bad, whatever you call them. Today they play Saka left back. Tomorrow they play Kopama as goalkeeper. Whatever they are doing it, but Bellingham again. And he won the man of the match.
That I don't agree with.
Do you agree with that?
No. And I don't know why football is so
performative these days. That goal was quality out of nothing.
Goal, yeah.
Don't discredit it.
Yeah, but it's I get that tournaments are about moments and all that, but you cannot discard the efforts of the other people.
Slovakia were clearly the better side.
Yeah.
But this is not the first time we are seeing that happen. Let's remember when
we have been complaining about it.
Because let's remember that the first group stage game where Portugal won game 2-1. I'm trying to remember that game.
Which one? Czech Republic, the first one.
Yes, where the substitutes came in
and scored.
He won he was given that. I remember we had that conversation about a world best player and won. and that is one thing. Stepping up in moments that is crucial. Without that goal, England were not going anywhere, and that's it. And sometimes you have to look at the key decisions in games. Those moments will always overshadow it. If you do not see that game, once you come on the internet, it's everywhere. Jude Bellingham, whether you like him or not, just the fact that those things came in. So those are the things you look at, and whether we like them, football has always been business. It has always been about the numbers, and as long as you can give the clubs, the national team, those goals, you will always be seen as an outstanding
tournaments player. Are about moments.
Yes, and that's what he did.
I get that, but me, I'm sure I'm not a fan of that thing. We even had your legend Karim Benzema talking about that these days. There's this quote of his. These days, someone doesn't play anything for the whole match and then shows up and scores. But
it's not. Yes, it happens. We've seen that. Let's not forget, even football too makes it that way. Even the rules that they bring in makes it that way. When IFAB tells you that a goalkeeper cannot shake during penalty,
that's why,
because they just want to have the moment.
One man army fights against. First of all, you say goalkeepers cannot win Ballon d'Or. Defenders cannot win Ballon d'Or.
What would you say?
No, the game is actually rigged.
It's
rigged in favor of attackers. But the most shocking part of it was that
defenders have won the Ballon d'Or?
Penalty against Denmark. I could not believe that was a handball.
No, it's the rules are
the rules have changed. I'm just saying that
the rules are the rules.
The rules are the rules. But it is so scary.
Unfair rule, but
it is so unfair because that was just.
I think one thing I have a problem with,
I was supporting Germany, but I felt that was
one thing I have a problem with football in terms of the rules.
Is in the rule, but
is how
shocking
penalties come about, right? Yeah. You have a situation that is a very low probability thing, and then you turn it to a penalty. Like, okay, something happens on the edge of the box, probably and someone does it, and the next thing, everybody clear.
But just to go into it quickly, let's just go into it quickly. Round of 16, England will take on Switzerland. What are their chances? Can they actually? Quarterfinal. Sorry, can they beat Switzerland?
Yes.
Will they?
I don't know. I don't think I saw so many flaws. Again, Slovakia are a very good side, but they have their limitations, and I've not seen those limitations with Switzerland.
And they lack those individual talents that we saw from that made the difference for England.
Exactly. If Slovakia had some of those individual talents that we saw with England, they probably would have won that game. You understand? So at the end of the day, as much as you set up tactically and everything, quality will always trump and just take you over the line. And I think that Switzerland have it. The way they played against Germany, they really, really, really could have scored more, which again is a problem because they need to be taking their chances a bit more and taking advantage of those openings that come. And if they do that against England are finished. Because England have not figured out how to play best.
And if you see how England have played so far in this tournament, you realize that all the countries they have won is because, or even had a draw. Because
how many countries have they won?
No, that's from the group stage. So as I say, are drawn also as well. It's because you've seen them lacking that individual brilliance. Against Serbia, it was also evident that Serbia could have won that game if they just had that little spark in it. So I think it's one thing that Southgate needs to look at. He has the quality to win it, but then does he would we see that masterclass from him?
The guy is just tactically limited.
Yes,
anyway, so with early predictions, Germany, Spain, who qualifies?
Germany. And this is just because I'm a hater.
Yeah, true, man. Germany, Spain, who qualifies?
Spain qualifies. Kai Havertz is out. Mbappe wins the highest goal scorer.
I'll celebrate Germany's exit.
England, Switzerland, who qualifies?
I think England has the quality to step up.
England, Switzerland, who qualifies?
I'm starting with Switzerland because I'm a hater.
Yo, there.
I'm here to hate.
Mamardashvili is gone.
England,
yes,
Switzerland.
30 saves in 4 matches.
Yeah.
He has to go keep out. I don't care who gets to the final.
He's going to be one of the most sought after goalkeeper in transfer.
100 million.
No, I mean once this Euros is done.
100 million and you can have
100 million. Who is buying?
Throw away Lunin and Couture.
For me, Germany, Spain. When you have Kai Havertz in your team,
please,
you're unplayable. So I think Germany will top that. Then England, Switzerland. I think England will go.
Okay.
I think England will go.
Okay, that's all we have for you today on today's edition of our football podcast. Don't forget to like the show and also click on the subscription button so that you can get informed on any of the stories we have again for you. Until then, to have yourself a nice day.
Mamardashvili is the best goalkeeper in the world. Take it to the bank.
Kylian
Mbappe still to have the highest goal scorer.